Captain Sarah Chen stood at the viewport of Lunar Base Artemis, her dark eyes fixed on the mysterious object their deep space sensors had detected just hours ago. It wasn't a natural phenomenon, its movement was too precise, too deliberate. After 15 years of commanding humanity's most advanced space surveillance facility, she knew this moment would change everything. Motion tracking confirms it, Captain, Lieutenant James Rodriguez reported, his voice steady despite the tension. The object is decelerating. It's heading directly for the Kuiper belt. Sarah nodded, her mind already racing through the implications. For the past decade, humanity had been preparing for this moment, though the public knew nothing about it. Below the surface of Europa, Jupiter's ice-covered moon, lay humanity's greatest secret, the EDS Aegis, Earth's first true battleship. Send the alert to Europa Command, she ordered. Authorization Chen Alpha 79. It's time to wake the beast. Thousands of miles away, beneath Europa's frozen surface, Commander David Okafor received the alert in the submarine-like command center of Project Guardian. His dark fingers moved swiftly across the holographic interface, initiating the sequence they'd rehearsed countless times but never executed for real. All stations, this is Commander Okafor, his deep voice resonated through the facility. This is not a drill. I repeat, this is not a drill. Begin Aegis activation sequence. The massive underground chamber hummed to life. The kilometer-long vessel that had been sleeping in its cradle of liquid water began to stir. Its quantum core, reverse-engineered from artifacts found in the Mars ruins 20 years ago, pulsed with a soft blue light. Dr. Maya Patel, the project's lead scientist, watched from her station as systems came online one by one. The ship represented everything humanity had achieved in the past 2 decades, quantum shielding, dark matter drives, and weapons that could tear holes in space itself. But its greatest weapon was something uniquely human, unpredictability. Power systems at 100%, Maya reported, her Indian accent crisp and clear. Quantum core stable. All defensive systems online. The Aegis was unlike anything Earth had ever built. Its angular, obsidian black hull seemed to drink in light rather than reflect it. The ship's design deliberately avoided the sleek, typical science fiction aesthetics. Psychological warfare had been built into every aspect of its appearance. Unknown contact has entered the solar system proper, Sarah's voice came through the command channel. They're not trying to hide anymore. Energy signatures suggest a vessel approximately 2 kilometers in length. Commander Okafor straightened in his chair. Time to show them we're not as primitive as they might think. Maya, begin surface approach sequence. Lieutenant Evans, prepare for ice breach. The massive engines of the Aegis hummed louder as the vessel began to move through Europa's subsurface ocean. Above them, carefully placed charges were already weakening the ice sheet in a predetermined path. Incoming transmission, Rodriguez's voice crackled through the command network. The alien vessel is broadcasting on all frequencies. The message that played through the command center sent chills down every spine present. Primitive species of Sol 3, your system has been claimed by the Drachnid Imperium. Prepare for evaluation and potential harvesting. Resistance will result in immediate termination. Commander Okafor allowed himself a small smile. Record and analyze that transmission. Maya, what's our status? Ice breach in 3 minutes. All systems are green, and the quantum core is performing better than simulations predicted. We're ready, Commander. The Aegis rose through Europa's ocean like a leviathan awakening from ancient slumber. Its advanced sensors had already mapped every crystal of ice above it, plotting the perfect emergence path. As the charges detonated in sequence, the massive vessel pushed through the weakened ice sheet, revealing itself to space for the first time. Lunar base to Aegis, Sarah's voice was tense with excitement. The alien vessel has detected your emergence. They're altering course. Reading energy spikes consistent with weapon systems activation. Commander Okafor took a deep breath. This was the moment Earth had been preparing for. All hands, battle stations. Maya, bring the quantum shields to full power. Lieutenant Evans, plot an intercept course. Let's introduce ourselves properly. The Aegis rose from Europa's surface, ice cascading off its dark hull in the weak sunlight. Its very appearance was a statement. Earth wasn't just ready for first contact, it was ready for war if necessary. Send them a message, Okafor commanded. Text only, all frequencies, Drachnid vessel, this is the Earth defense ship Aegis. Your presence has been noted. Your threats have been logged. You have 1 hour to leave this system, or we will demonstrate exactly how primitive we aren't. As the message was transmitted, the Aegis's weapons ports opened silently, revealing arrays of technology that had been theoretical just 20 years ago. The alien vessel, previously moving with arrogant confidence, had come to a complete stop. Humanity's time of hiding in the shadows was over. The galaxy was about to learn that Earth wasn't just another primitive world ripe for conquest, it was home to a species that had turned paranoia into preparation, and fear into strength. The silent guardian had awakened, and the stars themselves seemed to hold their breath, waiting to see what would happen next. The Drachnid vessel hung against the backdrop of Jupiter like a twisted dagger, its crystalline surface refracting the gas giant's light in unsettling patterns. Inside the Aegis's command center, Commander Okafor studied the alien ship's design, noting its apparent weaknesses and strengths with a tactician's eye. Their energy readings are fluctuating, Maya reported, her fingers dancing across her holographic displays. They're scanning us, trying to, at least. The quantum deflection is working perfectly, they can't get any clear readings of our internal systems. The alien response came faster than expected, impossible. Your species was surveyed less than 50 rotations ago. You possessed no spacefaring capability beyond chemical propulsion. Explain your technological advancement immediately. Lieutenant Evans couldn't suppress a chuckle. They sound rattled, Commander. Maintain battle stations, Okafor ordered, ignoring the alien demand. Maya, what are you seeing in their scan attempts? Their technology is interesting. Maya's voice carried the excitement of scientific discovery despite the tension. Advanced, yes, but predictable. They're using standard electromagnetic and quantum field scanners. Nothing we haven't prepared for. The Drachnid ship suddenly began moving, its crystalline surface shimming as it took up an aggressive position. Your silence is taken as hostility. Submit to evaluation or face immediate. Their transmission cut off as the Aegis suddenly vanished from their sensors. Commander Okafor had given the order to activate the ship's most classified system, the quantum phase shift drive. Phase shift stable, Maya announced proudly. We're completely out of phase with normal spacetime. To their sensors, we simply ceased to exist. The Aegis reappeared 3 seconds later, now positioned directly above the alien vessel. The maneuver was precise, calculated, and absolutely impossible by the laws of physics as the Drachnids understood them. Now, Okafor's voice was calm, let's return their courtesy of a scan. The Aegis's advanced sensors penetrated the crystalline hull of the alien ship, mapping every deck, every system, and every life form aboard. The data flowing into Maya's station told a story that made her eyes widen. Commander, their ship, it's old. Very old. I'm detecting signs of extensive repairs and multiple generations of technology layered on top of each other. They're not nearly as advanced as they want us to believe. Okafor nodded thoughtfully. They're bullies using handed-down technology they barely understand. Send them a message, your vessel's structural integrity is compromised in 17 locations. Your power core is operating at 63% efficiency. Your weapons systems are running on backup protocols. Would you like us to continue listing your vulnerabilities? The response was immediate, a plasma burst from the alien ship's main weapon array. The energy beam, capable of vaporizing a small moon, splashed harmlessly against the Aegis's quantum shields. The discharge scattered across the shield's surface in beautiful, aurora-like patterns. Shield strength at 99.7%, Maya reported with a hint of pride. The energy absorption systems are working better than expected. We can probably power the cafeteria for a month with that shot. Lieutenant Evans spoke up from his tactical station. Commander, they're powering up their main drive. Signs indicate they're preparing for emergency faster-than-light transit. Not yet, Okafor commanded. Maya, activate the gravity web. Let's show them one more trick before they run. The space around the Drachnid vessel suddenly became heavy with artificial gravitational fields, holding the alien ship in place like a fly in amber. Panic was evident in their next transmission. This technology is forbidden. The Ancient Accords. We never signed your Ancient Accords, Okafor interrupted, opening a direct channel for the first time. We never agreed to your rules. We never submitted to your evaluation. Earth is not your testing ground, and humanity is not your experiment. The Aegis's weapons ports opened, revealing arrays of technology that made the alien ship's sensors scream in alarm. Each weapon represented a different branch of physics mastered, a different impossible barrier broken by human determination and ingenuity. You came to our system expecting to find primitives, Okafor continued, his voice carrying the weight of humanity's resolve. Instead, you found a species that spent the last 20 years preparing for this exact moment. We took our fear of the unknown and turned it into determination. We took our paranoia and turned it into preparation. The Drachnid ship's energy readings spiked chaotically as they tried to break free from the gravity web. Their crystalline hull creaked under the strain. We're going to release you now, Okafor declared. You're going to return to your empire. And you're going to deliver a message: Earth is not a target. Earth is not an opportunity. Earth is a warning. Maya deactivated the gravity web with precise timing, allowing the alien ship to surge forward with its own desperate energy. The Drachnid vessel immediately engaged its faster-than-light drive, fleeing the solar system with such haste that it left a trail of crystalline debris in its wake. They're gone, Evans confirmed, checking his readings. That was impressive, sir. Commander Okafor allowed himself to relax slightly in his chair. The real work begins now. They'll be back, and they won't be alone. But now they know, humanity isn't just ready for the galaxy. We're ready to change it. As the Aegis turned back toward Europa, its dark hull reflecting Jupiter's light, alerts began flooding in from Earth. The secret was out. Humanity had watched their guardian emerge, had witnessed first contact, and had seen their defenders triumph. The age of humanity hiding in the shadows was over. The stars had witnessed humanity's first step onto the galactic stage, and it had been anything but primitive. The rings of Saturn shimmered like a cosmic warning sign as the Aegis maintained its silent vigil. 3 weeks had passed since the Drachnid encounter, and humanity's guardian was no longer alone. 4 additional ships had emerged from Earth's secret shipyards, smaller vessels, but no less lethal. Together, they formed humanity's first space defense fleet. Commander Okafor stood on the Aegis's observation deck, watching ice particles dance through Saturn's rings. The massive gas giant's atmosphere roiled with storms larger than Earth, providing a dramatic backdrop for what was about to unfold. Multiple fold space signatures detected, Maya's voice came through the command network. Massive energy displacement. Commander, they brought an armada. The space above Saturn's northern pole erupted with flashes of light as 27 Drachnid vessels emerged from faster-than-light travel. Their crystalline hulls had been reinforced, their weapons upgraded. At their center, a massive vessel nearly twice the size of the Aegis gleamed menacingly. All ships, battle formation Delta, Okafor commanded as he strode back to the bridge. Let them make the first move. We're fighting in our home territory, let's use that advantage. The human fleet took up positions within Saturn's rings, using the ice and rock debris as both cover and tactical advantage. The Aegis's quantum sensors had already mapped every significant particle in their vicinity, turning the chaotic ring system into a precisely calculated battlefield. The Drachnid transmission came as expected, humans of Sol 3. Your previous display of aggression has been noted. The Imperium does not tolerate technological theft. Surrender your vessels and submit to immediate investigation, or face extinction. Maya's analysis appeared on Okafor's screen. Commander, they've adapted their ships based on their encounter with us. New shielding configurations, reinforced hulls, but they're still using variations of their old technology. They haven't actually innovated. That's their weakness, Okafor realized. They only know how to copy and modify. They've forgotten how to truly create. He opened a channel to the fleet. All ships, initiate Operation Scattered Light. The human vessels activated their quantum phase drives in sequence, their images splitting and multiplying throughout Saturn's rings. Suddenly, instead of 5 ships, the Drachnid sensors showed 50, then 500. Each image was indistinguishable from the real vessels. The alien armada responded with a barrage of plasma fire that lit up the ring system like a new sun. Ice particles vaporized instantly, creating a massive cloud of superheated steam and debris. But when it cleared, all 500 human ship images remained, completely undamaged. They still don't understand our quantum field technology, Maya reported with satisfaction. They can't tell which ships are real and which are quantum echoes. Their targeting systems are going haywire. The Drachnid fleet began to spread out, trying to cover more space. It was exactly what Okafor had been waiting for. Execute Phase 2. Let's show them why you don't fight humans in a debris field. The Aegis's gravitational control systems came online at full power. Suddenly, the countless particles of ice and rock in Saturn's rings became weapons. Controlled by precise gravitational fields, millions of high-velocity projectiles began striking the Drachnid ships from every direction. Their shields are designed to stop energy weapons, Maya explained as they watched the aliens' defenses flicker under the assault. They never considered we'd weaponize natural debris with such precision. Simple kinetic impacts, but at these velocities. The smaller Drachnid vessels began taking damage, their crystalline hulls cracking under the constant bombardment. The human fleet's quantum echoes continued their dance through the rings, making it impossible for the aliens to concentrate their fire effectively. But the Drachnids weren't finished. Their massive flagship moved forward, its weapons charging for what sensors indicated would be a devastating attack. The energy buildup was beyond anything they'd seen before. All ships, execute maneuver Heimdall, Okafor commanded. The real human vessels instantly shifted position, moving into a precise formation around the Drachnid flagship. As the alien vessel released its massive energy weapon, the human ships activated their quantum shields in perfect synchronization. The energy blast was caught in a crossfire of quantum fields, trapped and redirected back through the ring system in a spectacular display of light and power. The redirected energy struck 3 Drachnid vessels, overwhelming their shields and reducing them to drifting crystal shards. Impossible. The alien transmission carried genuine fear now. These tactics, this technology, you cannot have developed this independently. Okafor allowed himself a grim smile. You're right. We didn't develop this alone. We had help, from every scientist, engineer, and dreamer in human history. From every person who looked at the impossible and asked, why not? From every child who gazed at the stars and imagined something greater. The human fleet moved as one, their quantum echoes collapsing as they revealed their true positions. The Aegis took point, its dark hull now glowing with absorbed energy from the battle. You thought we stole this technology? Okafor continued. We built it. We improved it. We took basic principles and turned them into something new because that's what humans do. We don't just adapt, we innovate. We don't just survive, we revolutionize. The Drachnid fleet began to retreat, their formation breaking down as more vessels succumbed to the weaponized ring debris. Their mighty flagship, now showing significant damage, began charging its faster-than-light drive. "Let them go," Okafor ordered as his officers prepared to pursue. "They need to report what happened here. The galaxy needs to understand, humanity isn't just ready for their technology. We're ready to surpass it." As the alien fleet fled, leaving their damaged ships behind, the human vessels regrouped among Saturn's rings. The debris field slowly settled back into its natural patterns, but the solar system had changed forever. Humanity had faced its first real space battle, and emerged not just victorious, but dominant. The message was clear: Earth wasn't just defending itself, it was announcing its presence to the galaxy. And any species that thought to challenge humanity would first have to answer a simple question: what other impossible things had humans been quietly mastering while the galaxy wasn't watching? In the aftermath of the Saturn battle, Earth celebrated, but Commander Okafor couldn't shake a persistent suspicion. Something about the Drachnid's tactics had seemed oddly familiar, as if they had been studying human military strategies. Maya was the first to confirm his fears. "Commander, you need to see this." Maya's face was illuminated by streams of decoded data in her lab aboard the Aegis. "I've been analyzing the damaged Drachnid ship we recovered. Their attack patterns weren't random. They were based on Earth military doctrines, specifically, naval warfare tactics from the past century." Okafor leaned closer to the holographic display, his expression darkening. "They've been watching us. Not just from orbit, they've been studying our history, our military evolution." "But how?" The answer came from an unexpected source. Lieutenant Evans burst into the lab, his usual composure shattered. "Sir, we've detected a signal. It's coming from Luna Base Artemis." The revelation hit like a physical blow. Luna Base Artemis, humanity's first line of defense, their most secure facility, had been compromised. Captain Sarah Chen's voice came through moments later, tense but controlled. "Commander, we've located the source. There's a quantum transmitter embedded in our primary sensor array. It's been there for years. Lock down the base," Okafor ordered. "No one in or out. Maya, can you track where that transmitter's been sending data?" "Already on it," she replied, her fingers flying across multiple interfaces. "The signal pattern is complex, but there's something else." "Commander, the technology in that transmitter. It's not Drachnid. It's far more advanced." The pieces began falling into place. The Drachnids weren't the real threat, they were pawns in a larger game. Someone had been manipulating both sides, studying humanity's response to threat while feeding Earth's defensive strategies to potential attackers. "All ships, battle stations," Okafor commanded through the fleet network. "This isn't over. Whoever planted that transmitter is still out there, and they've been playing a much longer game than we realized." The Aegis's sensors suddenly lit up with new contacts, ships emerging from fold space, but these weren't Drachnid vessels. Their design was entirely different, sleek and organic, almost invisible to conventional sensors. They appeared simultaneously at strategic points throughout the solar system. 7 vessels detected, Maya reported, her voice hushed with awe. "Their technology, it's like looking at our future. They're centuries ahead of even our most advanced systems." A transmission reached them, not in sound or light, but directly into their minds. "Impressive performance, humans. You've exceeded our expectations. The Drachnid test was merely preliminary. Now, shall we begin the real evaluation?" The alien ships moved with impossible grace, taking positions that effectively surrounded Earth's defense fleet. Their technology made the Drachnid ships look primitive by comparison. Even the Aegis's advanced sensors struggled to maintain lock on their positions. "They're called the Observers," Maya announced, reading from a data stream that had suddenly appeared on her console. "They've been guiding species' technological evolution for millennia. The Drachnids were just their latest tools. Okafor faced the main viewport, his mind racing through options. They were outgunned, outmaneuvered, and facing an enemy that had been manipulating them from the start. But he smiled, because he recognized something in the observer's tactics: arrogance. "Maya, remember that project you said would never work? The one about quantum field inversion?" Her eyes widened. "The uncertainty cascade? But sir, it's completely theoretical. We never got it past simulations." "Because we were afraid of the consequences," Okafor replied. "But right now, I'm more afraid of what happens if we don't try. Send the specs to all ships in the fleet. We're about to show these observers why it's dangerous to underestimate human creativity." The observers' ships maintained their perfect formation, waiting for humanity's response to their challenge. They had seen countless species face this moment. Some surrendered immediately, accepting their place in the galactic hierarchy. Others fought and were quickly subdued. None had ever surprised them. To the observers, Okafor broadcast on all frequencies. "You've been watching us, studying us, testing us. But you made a crucial mistake. You assumed that because you could predict our tactics, you could control our evolution. You forgot something fundamental about human nature." At his signal, the Earth fleet began moving into an apparently random pattern. The observers' sensors detected power building in their quantum cores, but the energy signature was like nothing they had ever encountered. "We don't just adapt to survive," Okafor continued. "We don't just overcome challenges. We transform them. You've been playing chess while we've been learning to flip the board." Maya's voice shook slightly as she reported, "Uncertainty cascade initiating. Sir, this could tear a hole in spacetime itself." "That's exactly what we're counting on," Okafor replied. "All ships, execute Protocol Omega. Let's show our guests why you should never corner a species that turned their own fear into a weapon." The space around Earth's fleet began to ripple as reality itself struggled with the quantum paradox they had created. The observers' perfect formation began to waver as their advanced sensors encountered something they had never seen before: a deliberately induced breakdown of spacetime certainty. Human ingenuity was about to teach the galaxy's oldest watchers a lesson about the danger of pushing a young species too far. The real battle for Earth's future was about to begin, and humanity had just changed the rules of engagement in a way no one could have predicted. The uncertainty cascade rippled through space like waves in a cosmic pond, distorting the perfect formation of the observer vessels. Their organic-looking ships wavered, their advanced sensors overwhelmed by the impossible readings generated by humanity's desperate gambit. "Quantum field stability at 15% and falling," Maya reported, her voice steady despite the chaos around them. "The cascade is working better than we ever simulated." The observers' ships, they're being forced to phase shift constantly just to maintain their structural integrity. Through the Aegis's viewports, space itself seemed to flutter and fold. The human fleet had created a bubble of pure quantum uncertainty, where the laws of physics became more suggestion than rule. The observer's technology, for all its advancement, relied on predictable natural laws, laws that humans had just turned into variables. "Their ships are adjusting," Lieutenant Evans called out. They're changing their fundamental structure. Adapting in real time." The observer vessels were indeed transforming, their hulls flowing like liquid metal as they attempted to compensate for the cascade's effects. But Okafor had anticipated this. It was time for humanity's final surprise. "Execute Protocol Omega Final," he commanded. "All ships, initiate quantum resonance sync." The 5 human vessels began pulsing in perfect synchronization, their quantum cores harmonizing in a way that amplified the uncertainty cascade. The effect was immediate and spectacular. The space between the human fleet and the observer ships became a kaleidoscope of possibility, each quantum state existing simultaneously. Then came a new transmission from the observers, this time tinged with something they had never shown before: respect. "Fascinating. In all our millennia of guiding species evolution, none has ever." There was a pause. None has ever forced us to question our own understanding of reality. Okafor stood from his command chair, his voice firm. That's because you've been looking for species to guide. We don't need guidance, we need partners. Equals. You've been playing games with civilizations, treating them like experiments. But humanity doesn't play by others' rules. We make our own. The cascade was beginning to strain the human ship's systems. Warning lights flashed across Maya's console. Commander, we can't maintain this for much longer. Our quantum cores are approaching critical threshold. But before Okafor could respond, something unprecedented happened. The observer ships began to power down, their organic forms settling into more stable configurations. Their next transmission carried a different tone entirely. Perhaps we have become too rigid in our methods. Too certain of our superiority. Your species has demonstrated something we had forgotten was possible, true innovation. The ability to take established principles and transform them into something entirely new. The uncertainty cascade began to stabilize as the observer's ships stopped resisting it, instead studying how humans had managed to weaponize quantum uncertainty itself. Their next words surprised everyone on the bridge. We propose an exchange. Not subjugation, not testing, but genuine collaboration. Your species has developed technology in decades that others took centuries to grasp. More importantly, you've developed it in ways we never imagined possible. Maya's console showed the observers were transmitting vast amounts of data, star charts, technological specifications, historical records. Commander, she breathed, they're offering us everything. All their knowledge, freely given. Not freely, Okafor corrected, understanding dawning in his eyes. They're offering an exchange because we've shown them something invaluable, a new way of thinking. A reminder that the universe is still full of surprises. The uncertainty cascade finally dissipated, leaving the human and observer ships floating in now calm space. Earth's fleet had survived, and more than that, they had earned something no other species had managed, the genuine respect of the galaxy's oldest civilization. To the observers, Okafor transmitted, we accept your proposal for collaboration, with one condition. No more tests. No more manipulation of other species. If humanity is to join the galactic community, it will be as advocates for innovation, not control. The response came swiftly, agreed. Perhaps it is time for a new approach to guiding young civilizations. Your species has demonstrated that true growth comes not from following established paths, but from finding new ones. As the human fleet began their return journey to Earth, the observer ships fell into formation alongside them, not as overseers, but as equals. The sight of their organic vessels flying in harmony with humanity's dark quantum ships was a powerful symbol of the change that had just occurred in the galaxy's power structure. Maya's voice was quiet as she worked at her station. Commander, do you think we just changed everything? Okafor looked out at the stars, seeing them now not as distant lights, but as future destinations. No, Maya. We just showed the galaxy who we really are. Humanity didn't just pass their test, we rewrote it. And that's exactly what we'll keep doing, every step of the way. The joint fleet approached Earth, where news of the confrontation and its resolution was already spreading. Humanity had earned its place among the stars not through conquest or submission, but by doing what humans had always done best, facing the impossible and finding a new way through. The age of humanity hiding in the shadows was over. The age of humanity leading the way into new frontiers had begun. And somewhere in the vast darkness between the stars, other civilizations were about to learn that the galaxy's newest spacefaring species had just changed the rules of everything.